Hi guys! Tonight's lesson is lesson 62, which is estimating arithmetic answers with rounded and compatible numbers. We've used arithmetic to find exact answers when we've done pretty much all of our lessons. For some problems, finding an exact answer may take many steps and a good deal of time. In this lesson, we're going to practice getting quickly to the answer, but we're going to be close to the answer. Now, we've done this before, and if we're getting close to the answer, but not the exact answer, what is that called? Do you remember? Well, it's in our title. It's going to be called estimating, or we're estimating our answer. It's close to it, but it's not the exact answer. So, number 1 says, estimate the product. Product is the answer to a what? A multiplication problem of 29 and 19. Is the estimate greater or less than the actual or real product? So I'm going to take 29 and 19, I'm going to round them to the nearest number. And so I would say 29, I'm going to round that up to 30. And I'm going to round up 19 to 20. And when I multiply, I do my 2 times my 3, which is my 6, and I add my 2 zeros to give me 600. Now the problem says, is the estimate greater or less than the real product? Well, think about it. If I'm rounding 29 up and I'm rounding 19 up, my answer is going to be bigger than the real product, which is actually, if you wanted to try it, is actually 551 is the real answer. All right, the next one. Estimate the sum of $8.95, $7.23, $11.42, and $6.89 by rounding to the nearest dollar. Go ahead and pause your video and try this one by yourself. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first number. If I'm going to take $8.95, I'm going to round it to the nearest dollar. What is $8.95 almost? Yes, it's almost $9. And it tells me sum, so I know I'm adding them. Sum, adding, product, multiplication. Okay, my next number, $7.23. Well, I'm going to have to round down because it's not above 50. If it's 51, I round up. If it's 50, I round up. 49, I'm going to go down. So, I would round $7.23 down to just $7. Then I have $11.42. It is almost 50, but not quite there yet. So I'm going to round that down to $11. And then the last one, $6.89. It's above 50. It's close to that dollar mark, so I'm going to round that up to $7. Go ahead and add these up by yourself. If you added them up, you should have gotten $34. Now, if you were to add the numbers, the exact numbers that we had before, you would have gotten $34.49. I would say just by estimating, we did get pretty close, $34 to $34.49. But we did it in a faster way with easier numbers instead of lining up all of our decimal points and carrying. So by estimating, we can get to our answer pretty quickly. Now it's not the exact answer, but it's just about the same. Alright, and go ahead and write down the next problem. Estimate the perimeter of this rectangle by first rounding its length and its width to the nearest 10 millimeters. Alright, so I'm rounding to the nearest 10. So, if I have 78, I'm going to round that to the nearest 10, and it's above 5, so I'm going to round that up. So I'm going to round 78 to 80 millimeters. And 31, I'm going to round that down to 30 millimeters. Now, it says estimate the perimeter. If I were to just add these two numbers, I'm really only talking about this much of the perimeter. So I need to add on another 30 and another 80 so that I can get my entire rectangle. So I would add 80, 80, 30, and 30. Don't forget your millimeters, 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 in millimeters. When you add all these up, go ahead and do that by yourself. You will get 220 millimeters. And we estimated it all the way around. The exact answer is 218 millimeters. If we were to do 78 plus 78 plus 31 plus 31, which is really only 2 millimeters off. So again, estimating can show you that you do get pretty close. All right, and the last problem. An average cat weighs about 14 pounds, and an average porpoise weighs about 103 pounds. About how many more pounds is a porpoise than a cat? And if you want to know, a porpoise is kind of like a dolphin. So, this one, we're actually going to use compatible numbers. Now, compatible numbers, when we do this, we're trying to find numbers nearby that will fit with our problem. So what I'm seeing right now is I have 14 and I have 103. I'm going to make that 103 104 and keep the 14. So then I'm working with, even numbers. So if I do that, I'm going to take 104, which is my porpoise because I rounded that 3 to a 4, minus my 14 pounds, so I can find the difference. 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 minus 1, can't do that, I'm going to borrow, make this a 0, make that a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9, so 90 pounds is the difference between a porpoise and a cat. Do you see how those compatible numbers worked? I found a number that was nearby. And I could have, I guess, if you wanted to round this down to 10 and down to 100, it wouldn't have been as accurate, but it would have still worked the same. All right, and here's your lesson practice. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Estimate each answer by rounding or using compatible numbers. Number 1, 68 plus 39, 2, 41 times 23, 3, 585 plus 312, 4, 38 times 19, 5, 94 minus 25, and 6, 59 divided by 29. All right, and we will be checking these tomorrow in class. Have a good night.